It's a lot more than the thing. Wow. Yo, I was really hoping I'd have some music to start this out. No. Nah, it's too good for music. Uh-huh. I could make me big. You'll see nothing. Nothing but me. Anyway, welcome to Ace Attorney Investigations. I'm gonna hit this button so something's playing in the background. See, it is making noise. Okay. I've made a special setup specifically for DS games.
I can swim.
Yeah, you can swim. You're right. You thought you couldn't swim?
Yeah, I
Sister's played a Pixar game. It's not even like a Pixar movie game.
It's
It's
a
like
Ratatouille. It's from Ratatouille.
it's a Ratatouille game within a Pixar game.
Yeah. There are like 6 different worlds. One of them is Ratatouille, and I'm surprised that I can swim because I can't get wet.
Anywho,
How?
well, my sister's getting mad because rats can swim. Welcome. Let's just go ahead and begin.
Good. Whee! I know how to live.
Okay. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far?
Accordion.
Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough,
Hey.
but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me,
Die.
no matter what the cost. Oh my god, you murdered someone. Oh, surprise! Like, murder wasn't the only way this game likes to go with these. Oh. Always have been, always will be. Don't know how that's the most anime design I've seen in this game. Well, the emulator is being enacted by controller, so luckily I can play most of this game through touchscreen. I just have the rookie set up. Right, I could detect gumshoes, been keeping an eye on my office, and keeping it clean.
What?
Doors.
What?
What is this?
What?
Strange contraption. It's part ship, part abomination of God. The door's unlocked. Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, that's how I know.
It's a smell. Familiar. What? Seriously, all these people, either all these people are bloodhounds or I need to have my nose checked. How the hell are people smelling blood in these games? What the? My bookshelf is messy. Also dead body. What's the meaning of this? Freeze. I forget his name. Freeze. Oh sure, bother freaking hiding this guy like you didn't show us his face half a second ago. Identify yourself. Shut. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one except me.
I'm the bird. Let's go get up there.
That boy turned out the moon. That was great. Dude had a pull cord, turned off the fucking moon. My name is Miles Edgeworth.
Oh my god.
Look, man, for the last time, rats can swim. It's not that
No,
weird.
it's not that. Look. I can't even get up there.
Hang
Now I
on.
know that thing going swimming. I'm used to it now. Now I can't even figure out how to go get to the flipping lever. Oh my god.
I'm going to play a game for my sister in just a moment.
This thing's crazy. First, oh. Hey. Oh, I'm supposed to hit the ball.
Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would finally learn how to fucking read. I would be thrust into a multitude of
Oh,
cases,
that's how I swim.
and some very frantic and busy days. That's how I swim. I use the power of mosquito spray.
During the up game, I actually had to use this, and I just went side.
Damn, it's 3 in the morning. The boy's up late. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir.
How dare you sue me, bro?
No fingerprints here yet. Perhaps if I fingerprint dust harder.
That thing just went weird.
Uh,
Now I'm swimming upside down.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Are you okay, sir?
Now I'm swimming upside down, bro.
Detective, this is a crime scene. We have to be quiet or you'll scare the bodies. You should know this, detective. You're a police officer. That's part of the training.
Oh my god.
Don't wake the dead,
Oh my
Gumshoe.
God.
It's very important. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up. I don't know what accent I'm doing. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct, but the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. It's 3 in the fucking morning. Why do you think I look? I'm fucking tired. However, look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I'll say the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Murder, possibly, but tracking mud? It's the last straw. Ugh, sounds like you're getting really pointed up over the whole thing. Try to keep this accent going, This crime was committed in my office, so it's my responsibility to solve it. It's not how it works. Keep dusting the photo. Oh, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. As well, keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Sticks post-it note to head, begins writing in pen. Hello, Mars 2369. How are you? Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? I'm doing pretty well. I'm playing this. I'm a fickle little bitch who can't decide what game he wants to play this week. I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. Why your office? I just cleaned it 5 minutes ago. What? Sitting over here eating bagel bites, living the dream. I personally have peanut butter filled pretzels. Excuse me. Where that came from? I mean, you can't really say it's a coincidence. How good are they? They're pretty good. Peanut butter is slightly lackluster, but it is made up for by a good pretzel. Reason for my controller like it's working with this emulator. It's an ass, so I'm having to use my keyboard and such. No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office. I'm trying to go for a New York accent. Problem is, I've never heard a New Yorker speak in my life, and so I keep going between stereotypical New York
New York
and Scottish.
Does not have an accent. Okay.
It does look like a car key. Especially the way the key itself goes, it does not look like an office key. Maybe that's how they look in Japan. I know that they say this takes place in California, but the game is set in Japan. They just four-kiss the shit out of it. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Phoenix Wright has a magic ring that lets him know if anyone's lying to him. I have the ability to be the only person in this fucking game with the ability to think. Frankly, in Phoenix Wright, that is a superpower. I streamed the first case a few years ago on my YouTube's channel. Yeah. And one of them came down to, well, how can you, like, the time of the clock was wrong, and he's like, but how can you prove it was wrong at the time of the murder? It's that moment when you're kind of just sitting there, like, you almost have to try and come up with a solution just as stupid as their argument. It's that one, it's that one saying, if you argue with a fool, they'll bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. Logic. By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. Twitch notification came first before the Discord notification for your stream. Ah, cute. Hi, Allie. That is the end result of using logic. It's a sad day when you have to explain logic to a detective.
Seriously, Joseph?
What?
Why didn't you cover up the lasagna thing?
It's not lasagna and...
Big pivot. Still, why didn't you cover it up?
I did, I put it in the oven.
That counts. Okay.
You can't connect two pieces of information until you confirmed it. You don't understand. If they wore glasses and they had a gun and the glasses were broken, the glasses must have been shot. Watch it. First I recall information through the logic button, then connect them together. Logic button. I love that he's saying that out loud. It makes him sound like some sort of robot. Don't worry. Opens up His sleeve is part of his skin, opens it up, hits a giant red logic button, beep, connecting evidence. He had glasses. Now to touch the logic button and recall the facts. Okay. So the crime scene was in his office. They have the office key. Logic dictates the murderer was me.
What? You were the murderer?
Yes. I was the murderer this whole time. It's my secret twin brother. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks. Most doors are outfitted with locks. That's how doors work. Which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's possible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. The murderer was someone with a key. They had... The murderer was Gumshoe. The kid... This must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? Maybe he was after my sick-ass coat.
Oh my god.
Olympic Sky coveted thy sweet robot ass. Yes, well, when you follow leads to the conclusion, only truth remains. And the truth is that I was the murderer. Wait. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before placing leads together, the logic should flow. Yes. He's still dusting that fucking painting. Maybe. It doesn't have any fingerprints, Johnson. What are you doing? Well, maybe it'll have fingerprints if I dust even harder. Let's start with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. Begin investigation. Cool. Awesome. Uh-huh. I simply touched the examine button. Beep. The hell? Now he really sounds like a robot. Everything's a button. I'll give you great precise advice in ace investigation. I'm sorry, I couldn't finish that with a straight face. It's fucking Gumshoe. Love the man, but he isn't an ace anything. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Okay. And away we go. Woo! Luckily, this game was played with the D-pad, so using my arrow keys here doesn't really take much. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Shoves fingers into mouth. Perhaps the bullet's in here. Mr. Edgeworth, I found an extra pocket. Shoves hand into bullet hole. Okay. Let's go to that. What do we have here? Yeah, I think I've seen one of these before. It's called a wallet. I don't have one of those. I got $2 in my back pocket. It's a police badge, detective. Oh hey, I have the same thing actually. What a coinky-dink. Shoot. How did you get this job? How? suck at this. Stop letting him hurt the rat. Jeez. let's take a look inside. His name is Mr. Buddy Faith. Thank you.
You see why I gave it to you.
It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. I'm surprised he got to beat Cub. How the fuck is he a detective? What logic do I have right now? The killer wanted to kill a detective because a detective killed his father. Halo music for the pretzel.
Oh!
Don't drop your chips.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ah!
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Anyway, go with the big red stab wound. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Words people speak.
This is actually something.
With their human mouths.
I accidentally gave the wrong one.
Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, so... Yes, my guy got stabbed in the penis move. In other words, he was shot. Yup. Till the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. He was shot in the stomach. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crimes. Crime scene notes. Type documents discovered in my office. Are you going to be okay keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. My memory is a fax machine. Shot with gun. Put that in my pocket. Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright. If you say so. I keep all the evidence I find in or with my organizer. What? The fuck? Did that... What? I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. What the fuck does that mean? Whatever, I keep all the evidence I find in my organizer. Oh. Opens vest.
Yo.
Pulls a shelf out of chest. Yes, I have the police file on Mr. Buddy Faith. Very nice. Straightens cravat. The organizer in his butthole.
And this is mine.
Okay.
I'm just leaving it here.
But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand, yeah. Probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. But who cares about the murderer? They fucked up my bookshelf. They will not be forgiven. The files are all over the floor, sir. He probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Well, I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all that time and effort I put in useless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. You did actually mention that earlier. I hope Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. You ain't the only one with the robot brain, Mr. Edgeworth. What's up? 10,000 IQ. I remember everything as long as it happened at least 2 minutes ago. I water the flowers every day just like you requested, sir. I just had to clean it to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I come in and clean this place until it sparkled. I've gone so far from a New York accent, it's incredible. Does he have a life? Yes, no, actually, he can't afford to have one. Was that all the... What's up with his hand? Let's see here. There's blood all over the lower abdominal area, alright. That's not his lower abdominal area, but thank you for saying that again. Yeah. Don't worry, sir. I'm still dusting that painting just as you requested. Is that a gun? What have we here? Perhaps this could be the murder weapon. No. That's not the murder weapon. The murder weapon was actually a knife. If so, would mean the killer made their escape after disposing of that gun here. I think I've seen one of these. Oh my god! He's not even a real detective. They just told him that so he'd get the fuck out of the office. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know! I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective. I don't really like guns that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. Now, think about it. You do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. So it's a detective's gun, so that's going to be our victim. They took the gun from the victim and shot him. I don't use mine much except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the exact same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Alright. Like what?
But make sure that Joy doesn't eat any of my food.
Okay. She's not gonna eat your food, man. Do I really have to put this together? Do I really? The revolver, the standard model used by the detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Sticks hand in the bullet wound. You're right, Mr. Edgeworth. There's no gun in here. Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see, what have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir, this guy's wearing a gun holster. This guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Victim's revolver data jotted down in my organizer. Okay. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. What? As I always say, you've got to look real carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Alright. Slide bar or X and Y arrows to zoom in and get a nitty gritty. Woo! So wait. I know he's holding it. 2D game, 3D model, yeah. I still imagine he has Gumshoe holding the gun. Gumshoe, I need to see it a bit more closely. Gumshoe's like, oh. He's like, all right, sir. Ah, this game's a treat. All right. Let me guess. It's gonna have like 2 bullets missing, and that's how we know it's gonna be theirs. Oh. The what? So the killer killed the victim with just 1 shot after wresting the gun from him. Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now that it's a distinct possibility. Then all we're gonna find out, which is in the body to the onset. Jim! Oh, no, who's talking? Oh! I see. Are you alright? Don't touch me! Leave me alone. Just let me be! Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. He's a lump of flesh that I murdered. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Where the fuck did you get Jim from Buddy Faith? You sound like I'm trying to name a person. Sure. Just in a bloodstained suit, pal. Yep. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes I am. I'm Jacques Portsman. Prosecutor. Jack Sportsman? Alright. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I can't fucking read today. I'm Miles Edgeworth. Like you, I'm also a prosecutor. Detective Yeah! Where are they getting Jim? Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that's correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim. Wow. You couldn't have come up with a worse argument even if you killed the person. Oh, wait. Hi, prosecutor's office doors all have locks. Normal prosecutors don't get that kind of shit. That's correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah. Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on— Oh no, Gumshoe, don't do this. And the key to the door was with me the entire time. Gumshoe, give me your badge. Bites into it, the badge is actually a chocolate coin. So it was you then, you're Jim's killer. Uh-huh. Are we gonna have to do some sort of logic battle to explain to the killer why I'm not the killer? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. Especially when I shoot people. You sure are one cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. There we go. I've heard all the rumors about you. You are the great genius prosecutor. You are something of a legend, you know. Probably sit up. Alright. That's better. I feel more of the screen this way. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Murderer and prosecutor, prosecutor and prosecutor. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Come on, buddy. It's not poisoned. I would never poison my hand for something like this. I'm such a good guy. How would one poison their hand? Make sure not to touch your face. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you. I intend to. Anyway. This is leftover baked penny that I made last night. Was. So that bitch Gravity came in. Alright. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Got anything to report? You have anything to report? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. No dead bodies in sight, sir. Yeah, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Uh-huh. Anyway. That painting he made of his sick-ass coat. But is that actually his coat? Your jacket, sir! What's it doing on the floor? Must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. Now, enforcement's in there. What I mean... So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well. Hang on. Wait just a moment, I'm getting an ace attorney moment up in this bitch. Think you haven't noticed it yet, detective? There's a giant contradiction. It's time to do the thing. I say contradiction. He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. The scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off. That's when my deductive skills come into play. 2 bullets. 1 hole. What could it mean? First I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. Nothing like treating your player like an idiot. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. And when I've found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. Presents gun to the painting. Yeah, take this. Okay, gun. Eureka! Not as good as objection. This bullet hole is a contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim. The second fell my sweet-ass coat. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. So there were 2 guns. One of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Killer have another gun prepared for the night? Why would they take his gun back? I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? That's the secret safe. Secret safe? I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. And if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that! Someone cleaned off the numbers? Were they trying to get in? Suppose it's not what happens when I'm not here to dust it every once in a while. I had no idea it was safe here, or I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So when did you put this thing in? Wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. So the murderer was a prosecutor. But who could it be? Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence, but... So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Literally nothing. I hate this damn thing. Right now? Nothing! Yeah, celebratory rigatoni. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Secret safe. Jotted down in my organizer. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? You know, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist? Yes, sir. Would you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. Time to hit that magic button, yeah. Play connect the dots with the information we have. A few things we can put together right off the bat. Killer's goal. There we go. Killer's goal was theft. Friend walked in, said, "What the fuck are you doing?" and he shot him. Theft. Alright. What the hell would they want from their thing? He had to know he was out. Why would you think he had anything in his safe? See a clear connection between these two pieces. Alright, worth a shot. That's all we can really grab from that. Alright, let's take a water over here. Supports, but a word if I may. Jim, I swear I'll find your killer and bring them to justice. You wait and see. It'll be for the both of us. Now then, you wanted to talk to me about something? No, that's alright. So you just walked into the garage, someone let the freezer door up. Oh, it's alright, man. Well, that's good. Okay. Do I have to put together the other logic thing? This, maybe? Is it another gun? It's like, why would you bring a gun for a thief? Another result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. I see. Alright. Not really. I'll never die. I'm immortal. I'm a robot. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And? So what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? Only restore things to their rightful place. Hey. Why is the bullet down here? Taking a second round of bagel bites. Hell yeah. Bloodstains on the bookshelf is still fresh. I suspect the victim was killed in the standing position, hence the print on the shelf. Then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of gross in the out. You know, you're gonna have to bleach that on the floor. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. No, I'm no good with blood, sir. Certainly something's wrong with this picture, yeah. Dang. For the bullet to be lodged so squarely into a file spine indicates the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. The files are back on the shelf. When you look at the dead body, the files are all over the place. What the frick? Oh no, we put the files back. That was the big thing. We put them all back. And apparently we fucked up because the bullet's down here. Do I have to deduce? Bullet place bad. Clearly contradiction with this bullet hole. Oh. Celebratory rigatoni. What do you mean, sir? You don't see. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. Yeah! Celebratory bagel bite. Oh my god. Alright. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he had been shot. That means... Wait, what does that mean? He's use your brain every once in a while instead of mind detective. But Mr. Edgeworth, your brain plays doom! In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. It was from this mistake that our current contract just say the books were in the wrong place for the love of God. It was a faulty assumption that caused the problem with the bullet hole's position with the order of the files. The order of the files is a bit off. I put them back in the wrong order just now. The labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? You put them before 1. What are those doing on the way down here after 1, 2, and 3? Really weird. Actually, the way they're organized now is the correct order. Ah, I see, I see. So the files were ransacked, put back, then he was shot, then ransacked again. What the hell? They were exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. This white binder's is special, so they're arranged a little differently. And from this we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. That's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, Detective, but the files were on the floor. They weren't put back. Obviously, there were two people, because there were two guns, and if there was a second gun, they wouldn't need to take the first gun from the guys. There were two people going in. I think the second guy was the one that actually held the gun at us and shot the thing and left. So, maybe they ransacked it and, like, left it on the floor? And then these guys, the killer came in first, obviously. And so they essentially ransacked and they put it back with 0 in front because it goes 0, 1, 2, 3 as numbers fucking go, Edgeworth. And essentially, I think, so the killer ransacked it, put it back. Friend got weirded out. Friend caught him, got weirded out. Shot him. Friend's dead now, bullet hole in there. Killer leaves. Either didn't find the file he was looking for, or he did and just freaking left. Second person comes in. And I think they were both here for theft, because obviously the killer is prosecutor guy. He's the only one who could have known about that safe. But then why would you look through the file? Maybe... I don't know. We don't know enough about the place to know what the second guy was doing here yet. There was a second guy. Came in, ransacked the files again. Second guy didn't have time to put it up because Edgeworth walked in. So second guy shot the painting and ran. And that leads us where we're at right now. Yeah, I got brains sometimes. Celebratory painting. Okay. Alright, let's see it. Hey, what's that? Okay, puzzling indeed. I didn't even read that. I just kept hitting the button like a dunce. But yeah, I think I pretty much described the case. Files were thrown into disarray twice. Once before and once after the crime, but why? My logic? No, I must logic first. Another handgun, files in disarray twice. Let's see it. No, fuck you, there's totally a line of reasoning there. There is totally a line of reasoning. Files were rearranged twice. There's two guns. Why do you think that happened? Because there are two people. Two of them. God, for a robot, his processors are acting up. Alright, let's see how they badly decided to... Or maybe. Because that's a missing file. Alright, so both of them came in for stealth. Second guy took that file. There we go. It's done. This! What is that? Obviously, it says Gumoe. Gumho. What does it say gumshoe? What does it say gumshoe there in blood? It doesn't. It says gumho. Say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. Oh wait, there's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Help me say something, sir. Help me discover what my accent should be. Oh my god. That's probably the worst gumshoe voice in the entire internet. Here we go. It appears that one of my files was stolen. OH. No, definitely not, because then they would have seen... They would have seen the name written there. If it was Gumshoe, he would have taken it all, because that's his name and the frickin' thing. Seeing as obviously it wasn't. That's not how those were written. Take a look. See, you got G-U-M spread between two books, and H-O-E spread between two books that way, but when we actually go, never mind, actually. Oh good, they gave me back my health. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the... end. And this most important message managed to reach us. But like, if the killer actually saw that, they wouldn't take it out, because that fucks with the name. I'm telling you, it wasn't me! You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words. They're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play this, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this. This man's attitude. There must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. How do you do that? Can you explain to me, sir? No. Mr. Portsman, if you're ready. Oh, if you don't have the time, you could just say so, sir. Here we go. I love this game's art style. It's really good. Detective Gumshoe.
Jay.
You stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead.
Jay. Devin just proved that he's insane.
Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. You... My head hurts. He did the files so it would look like he committed theft and then left the body. The proof that he had not in fact committed theft. All that would do is say he committed 2 crimes. It will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue Victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice. He's calling for his killer's arrest. As you hear Jim in the background. Stop believing him. He's an idiot. Oh.
Why are there two screens?
Magic.
I didn't say how, I said why.
Magic. That's why. There's no way Detective Gumshoe's the culprit here.
Flum, 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 flum. Flum, 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 flum.
Very nice, Edgeworth. Rebuttal. Thank you. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Bring a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it! You have time to laugh and you have time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? Thus may I direct your attention to the missing file. What? That's impossible! I didn't take a file. I mean... What's impossible, Mr. Portman? Oh. The files in that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take a file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody red letters written on the spines. It's possible they could have taken the file before committing the murder? I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters and the detective's name, but the file should be as proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone and there's only half an H. Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case. I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Ooh! Get him! Which means what exactly? Oh my god. Makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. We'll do it then. Well, Mr. Portsman? Brilliant! Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Yeah. You win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Just take a second to realize that Gumshoe is the biggest mood in the Ace Attorney franchise. Man is broke and dead inside. But you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. We're just gonna play your ass this time, dude. Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. Okay. Okay. Who are you throwing in the ring this time? And why do I sense that you still have something to say? Well, I was thinking, did you know there's one other person with a key to this office? He's gonna say security did it? Other person. Hey, you there! Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? Lady. The girl is a member of the building security, yeah. Think of her as a material witness. Security! Say security? No, stop it, pal, don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden? It's his girlfriend! I don't freaking know. I haven't even played all the way through Ace Attorney 1. Who the hell is this lady? I believe she needs no introduction. Please introduce me. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. Thank you for the introduction. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie. Miss Bird is security guard on watch tonight. I see, and your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in the building. What? What? If you're not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird, or anyone who stole the master key. How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room! That's right, I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me, that's right, I did it. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. What the hell is happening? Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Oh god, what are we doing now? It's pretty obvious Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key? Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good batch always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I feel like we're going a little too far in this metaphor, but okay. What if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key? Seems the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. See then. It's pretty obvious that she snuck to your room using the master key. What evidence do I have? I'm just gonna press everything. Is that cool? It's cool. Sure, Miss Bird is the only member of security. Oh? What? Oh. He knows we're gonna have a smoking gun on this bird. Let's hear her. I discovered that the master key was missing around 1 a.m., sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you say? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then what? I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know. Just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. A likely story. And where is your proof the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal. Trust me, you don't want to test how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of that testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. But still have established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Motive? We already established there was theft. The culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. Ah, but did she know there was a safe? But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Let's go. Do you wish to continue on insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole theory conclusion anyway. That may be, but you also must be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of a cunning plan. The killer was a prosecutor. She could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted, yeah. The only things knocked over were books on the bookshelf and a chess table. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. That means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. Oh, we're closing in. And he knows it. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses. Why? What made you? It's the angry face all of a sudden. It's all my fault. It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What? partners, the inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him I built him in on the secret saints. That means, yeah, I know. I only just told him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. He's saying she shot him to stop him from stealing. What's happening? I'm gonna be honest, he's good at going with the flow. Unless he returned it, yeah. And I noticed in a lot of the games, they only show a picture of what happened if that's actually what happened. They don't tend to make pictures for false accusations. Which means Jim actually did steal the key. Though, I think what actually happened may have been they broke in on their own, and then he killed Jim so there would be no witnesses. I want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? It's my office, bitch. You first. You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. But I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. Since when? You're all suspects to varying degree and therefore ineligible to run this show. Hell, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe calling yourself. But sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request for now. And thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Portsman, we will meet again. That's a formal request from the legendary Don't disappoint me, you hear? To be continued. I would like to save. Thank you. There we go. It's all for Holly. What's with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, Detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then, what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. Okay. Let's take a look at it. Oh. Ah. Thought we were gonna take a seat on the bench and think, but hell yeah. The missing Oath series file. Okay. more steel in them. Not particularly, just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. That means the thief must have also wanted the files for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Gumshoe! Cat! Really? I was about to say at some point, man, if Mr. Payne ain't here, this ain't an Ace Attorney game. Looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who's this guy again? Means we can look at the doors? 1203, 1203. Hey Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portsman, sir. So he's my new neighbor. Let's see. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas? Basketball hoop. What's a basketball hoop doing here? Didn't this used to be outside, just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. That poor man. Woman, I guess, but still, that poor officer. I heard it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor. Let's take a look at my door, since it was the one being broken into. Won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. "1202. These four numbers on a number plate alone proclaim this to be my office." Oh, say, these number plates slide right out, sir. They have to be able to take the plate off when the room becomes vacant, you know. Oh, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... Oh. I don't see any signs of forced entry, and according to the guard, no signs the lock was picked. And according to the guard, no signs the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Dropped to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob. Barely the doorknob's clean as the whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Alright, let's ask Maggie what's up about that key being stolen. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of this courtroom, but this? It's like a dream! A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth! I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. Jog her my memory by showing her my notes. Another thing, okay. Show a prosecuting key thing. Back, what? Ah, present. So Andrew discovered the master key was missing. By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. Noticed it was back around 2:30. Just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that was between those two times, it was not gone, but stolen, sir. What have we got for that? Why is there such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say. Except for this time, correct? I admit that was a bit careless. But I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I had left it sitting on the ledge. She used the master key. Who for? What do you mean by you used the master key? Ugh. Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. It's my job as a security guard, right? What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. Ah, the plot thickens. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird. Quickly. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. That's when you loaned the master key to him? No way! It's against regulations to loan the master key to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office. He was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30, I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. No, she didn't. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you could say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. This calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. But first, logic button! Use the master key between 12 and 1:30, but it was stolen. At 12 and 1:30, but it was stolen from 1 to 2:30. Guess that means she's a little liar. Here we go. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. No way, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office around 1:30, correct? The master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw through that contradiction like a pro. I totally forgotten all about that, but thanks to you I remember now. You're right, it was around that very time I remembered the master key was missing. And? I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So, I pretended to lock up his room, sir. Pretended. Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. In actuality, you never did relock the door, though. Oh! Now let's check his door and see if it's locked. I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Check the door, check the door, check the door, check the door, check the door. Examine. Don't rest. Show me a locked door! The door is locked! Tight. Hell Yo! I bet the old credit card trick will work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? Tell us of a high prosecutor and detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be horrible. The culprit is. I'd advise you to return that pawn. The conclusion, whatever pawn shop you bought it from. He's gonna do some deduction. Yeah. Do some deductions. There's a contradiction. This bitch is a liar. Anyway. Oh, shit. I dropped one of the earbuds. I tend to keep only one earbud in. That way I can hear myself speak. Anyway. If you're not looking for it, you can barely see it on the camera. There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Doom, 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 doom. You're right. Miss Bird, you're sure you didn't relock the door? I'm certain of it, sir. I don't think Mr. Portman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means what, sir? Either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. Second guy had to steal the key. Mr. Portman simply switched the name tags, dragged that basketball court over, because those were the two identifying factors for his broom, and had her open Mr. Edgeworth's door, because that key opens all the doors. She wouldn't have even had to pull out a different key to do it. She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All you do is logic. Examine. Print on the doorknob. The print on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey, you pal. Do me a favor and see where you can live from this. If it doesn't have Maggie's print on there, that means she never opened that door. There's no need for such belligerent nostril flarings, detective. Sir, I found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Faith's prints on this doorknob. So only two people's prints were found on this, huh? It's pretty decisive. I'm lost, sir. Thinking logical, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well. These prints? Our good lady, Miss Bird. Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean, yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. Sportsman's office data updated in my organizer. Ooh. Anyway. What have we here? Ding. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Hey, how about a game? It's okay, detective. I just found the position of the hoop to be a little off. You're right, sir. If it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I better take note of this. Alright, let's get that note that's under his door. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. See, there's something written on it. I brought the 3 pieces of paper by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. This is for Mr. Portsman. Don't left my victim data. Jot it down in my organizer. Investigation complete. Poking around this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit in this case. You know what the killer is? You know what the killer is? Well, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. Mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it. That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me, too. I suspect it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That's anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on truth's door. Get my good side, detective. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letter, sir. Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Ow. Hey, got to him, that was good. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jock Portsman, that you were the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your guise under the... You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through that unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who'd ever thought it'd come to this? Actually, come to think of it, you're mentor with Manfred von Karma, right? Oh, good to know my setup's working right. Accidentally clicked out of the app. Huh. The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. But it teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? You done trying to play mind games with me because they won't work. I'm a robot, I don't have a mind. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. But that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Though you have yet to prove anything. Then let's go. Let's prove some shit. Mr. Portman's rebuttal. What sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. I'm afraid we're not done here. Yeah. Oh, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on. With evidence. I'm basing it on this robot Mr. Portman's rebuttal. Yeah. Boop. Do I... Would behoove you to take a good look at this. I see it, but I fail to see how the same thing would do with me. Oh, okay. Okay. It's gotta be this one. Master key, maybe? Yeah, the music stopped. There we go. I believe you're able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a second. I never laid a finger on that key, as you will already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You use your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. You had asked Miss Bird to open your office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? The room you had Miss Bird open that time was not your own, was it? What? You've quite the imagination. Well, why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. Check the number plate to make sure it was open the right door, sir. Miss Bird backs up my story. What if you had misled her? What if you had misled her? To fool her into thinking what you wanted? Ha! How do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you'd then use one other thing to give a very strong impression that the door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it that Miss Portman used to do the thing about... The basketball hoop, sir! Quite a peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. That's not what that was supposed to say. I guarantee it. What? It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. It's very true, sir. Because there was basketball hoops sitting there, I thought the door was opening had to be Mr. Portman's. There are signs the hoop had been moved. Sitting in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. I think your conjecture's just a little off the racetrack. Conjecture's rebuttal. Oh, you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Let's see. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. Your jacket has a spot on it. What? No! And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. I washed my jacket last week, sir. Yeah! Please calm down, for I intend to show who is truly the one covered in slime here. The slime of evil! Bing. Bing. Bong. A little smirk he gives to you, like, ooh! That was a lie. Ooh. Yeah, baby! What I've been waiting for! This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portman. A note? It was left on your door. What did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you? And what were you doing? Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you! That's just nonsense! You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do! I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? I bet you didn't find anything. Sure are good at wasting time. You're right. I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the person opening your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Further, all the prints on my office doorknob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We both know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because you heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. But I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. And just what's so funny, pal? That look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor as he makes a huge mistake at accusing me is simply too much to bear. Pulls gun. I'll kill you for that. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all. He even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery. Just admit to the crime already. Just as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? I can readily confess that I'd wiped that doorknob down well. Huh? A little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch the doorknob that you'd touch. I wiped the doorknob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense only Jim and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left from there before I arrived at the office. Like, early evening, for example. You're saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway. Even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work that related matters. Although that's no excuse. That's just a flat-out lie! This case is finally running well. I don't know, I feel like I've done nothing but read the lines for far too long. I'm like, ooh, I have to say something! What do I say? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth! Back me up here! Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only realized that I had one just now as we were talking. Guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Oh, fuck. If memory serves, you came back to this office around 2, correct? It was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe? Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. Guys down in criminal affairs said they all saw him around 2 a.m. I gotta end this soon. My laptop is at 6%. I gotta go real quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a little something. Let's just hope this thing survives to keep the stream going. I'm ending the stream at the end of this case anyway, but I want it to be on my own terms, you know? You see? Just hide. Hmm. Let's press a few things. I remember checking my watch then. Cool. Okay. Hmm. As you say, however. Indeed. Yeah, I think we're at that fun point. Yeah, that's how that's supposed to look. I think there's a reason that's the default. There we go. It matters that you ran into the code. Hang on, I'm gonna send this stuff off so I can make sure everything's cool. Alright. Exactly that time I was down in criminal affairs. We just press everything. This is the classic you're supposed to lose scenario. Press everything, see that it's that's a perfect thing, and then they'll go, ooh, what if we had to do the thing? Yeah. Is there nothing I can do? Must be a way to turn this situation around. If I only had a clue. Did I miss something that could help me cast doubt on his alibi? Finally, Jesus. We're finally going to be able to figure out that there were two. Mr. Portsman's ally, another handgun. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life. And one that really robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once. It's entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. Seeing as the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, that's what I've been saying, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person. Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Yes! Oh, I hated having that files in disarray thing floating around there. It would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder. It shouldn't be much of a stretch to think it was the work of two different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back, Mr. Portsman, it seems I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I assumed the person I ran into was a killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means the killer was someone else. In actuality, two culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean two? Explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice, and how there were two guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry to my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now that I'm returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me. Which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my files. This is the first time. So this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith. Hey, come into your room, sir. Probably a business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. That's when he noticed sounds coming from my office. At least that would be my guess. Because you were supposed to be away, right? He must have thought it was odd, so we came into the office to check it out. Correct. As a detective, that was the right thing to do. When he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This is the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he'd also left a fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, let's get another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another? Visitor, sir. Sure, Gum, she was standing next to the known murderer. Yes, this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Except, rather than Mr. Portsman, this one was actually good at it. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door out to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that. And so, they stole the master key from the security guard's room. They then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen zero file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shells messed up twice. The two bullets. So because two different people were doing those two things at two different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portman? The person I meant was just a thief, and not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi, which I ran for the time frame in which I ran into the other person, is now irrelevant. Because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid! Your scenario explains everything! Of course it does, it's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right. It would indeed render my alibi, which is misstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your identity? Your supposition that I was the first visitor, yeah. Start with you can't let me go away with it. Alright. That's a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Everything has been shot down with stupidity. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. Just turn him into a rough southern guy. Know something. Know something. I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. The person you met was really just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That's if your theory is correct. Please let this be over soon, for the love of God. I'm tired. I want to go home. That thief you ran into should be a real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should all be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. When Jim came to deliver some evidence for me, I was down at criminal affairs. We had evidence for that too. Ooh, we had evidence for that. And for the thief. Of course! How's the time to be wasting on dead-end discussions? I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue when we left off, shall we? He's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Rebuttal. Should be a real suspect. Should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. Myself, but I've already said I was training my room. Deliver some evidence to me. I was down at criminal affairs. Let's press here. What was the evidence? And should go there with Mr. Faith. Ah! He's gonna take a quick nap. Yeah, the sofas in the hallway. He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. What of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items: a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Show me. Yes, yes, yes. Show me the notes. I believe he said 3, didn't he? Check. 3 pieces. Bing! Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is you fail. Excuse me? You failed as a prosecutor, Miss Portman. As you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. I brought the 3-piece of evidence. It says Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portman. Can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? It's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe? You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Don't come any closer. I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me. No! What's this? You have this on him, sir. Spider-Man's, you said it would appear you do have something to hide. Why would you hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone will hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail, with the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Gumshoe, if you would. Oh, it's got bloody on it. It's blood, isn't it? Yes, I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. But this blood is still fresh. I mean, this might be Detective Faith's blood. No! No! You've got it all wrong. Oh no, amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. But at the moment of his death, Detective Faith had this videotape on his personage when you killed him. Very well, there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. If I had to take a guess, I'd say the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible! Oh. I had no idea how to voice that. That, kids, is why I'm not a voice actor. Yay! March 14th, 5:47 p.m. High Prosecutor's Office, Room 1202. Please end this case now. Mr. Portsmouth has been placed under arrest, thank God. For the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back in the lab techs of the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing, really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky. Lucky it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. As opposed to what? Last time I got in trouble like this, it was for international terrorism! If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. It tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? Mr. Portsmouth really was one corrupt prosecutor. Why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. Oh? There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged. Well, I wouldn't know anything about forging evidence. Forged evidence, huh? They say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. That guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. I'd be pretty certain that was to steal something. You and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. What might that be? Ooh, well. Mr. Portsmouth not willing to divulge anything, and certainly we lend credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Mr. Portsmouth isn't the bad guy? Oh, he's definitely the bad guy. He's a terrible guy. I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. We still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence.
Take that!
The person who stole this file. The other villain of the night. I wonder who it was. And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is that? Wait a minute. That's the symbol on that girl Kay. Well, she's from this game, so I'm sure we'll figure it out later. But I've drawn a couple characters from this game before, and one of the characters from later has that on her cloak or whatever. I only say this because it's not a spoiler of sorts. It's actually on the box art of the game. Is that character with a thing on it? That's actually what I was doing. I was drawing the box art in another style to see how it would look. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? Not just any bird. The mark of the raven. A three-legged raven. I think I've heard that before. Even you should know what this is, detective. It's about that thing, isn't it? The great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it's the mark of the great thief Yatagarasu. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is ennobled to the end. A modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. But we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal. We do know the targets. Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. So that file had evidence of Big Sneaky. The theft is always performed in silence, always with perfection. Except this time. Target has chosen no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth except that one. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. It's been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, someone's written on the back. Let me see. Location where the thief put the stolen files. The person who stole the contents of this file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. Let me go home. I haven't seen my family in months, please. Seriously though, what the hell? Why is this so long? This was a 2-hour, 13-minute tutorial level. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. The end. Finally. Brand new episode has been added. Turnabout Airlines. Save. For the love of all this holy, save the goddamn game. No. You all have a very nice day. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm tired. That was a 2.25 hour tutorial level. I'm scared of this game's future cases. You have a nice day. And I hope to see you all next time.